I still remember the exact moment my life shattered. Marlowe sat across from me at our tiny kitchen table, his hands trembling as he slid the marriage contract toward me. "I'm so sorry, Aspen. I had no choice." Our family business had collapsed. Debts piled so high we were going to lose everything. Our home, our parents' legacy, everything we had left of them after the accident. And then Duke Caspian Aldridge made an offer. Marry him, and all our debts disappear. "Why me?" I'd whispered, staring at the ornate document. "Why would a duke want to marry someone like me?" Marlowe couldn't meet my eyes. "I don't know. But if you don't, Aspen will lose everything." So here I am now, standing in the Duke's private cathedral, wearing white I didn't choose, marrying a man I've never met. The ceremony is cold, formal. No guests except Marlowe Indigo, who's been squeezing my hand so hard it hurts, and a handful of the Duke's staff. When Caspian finally lifts my veil, I get my first real look at him. He's devastatingly handsome, sharp cheekbones, piercing gray eyes, dark hair swept back perfectly. But there's something cold in his gaze, something that makes me shiver. "You may kiss your husband," the officiant announces. Caspian leans in, his hand cupping my jaw with surprising gentleness. But the kiss is brief, perfunctory, like checking off a box on a list. The reception is torture. I sit beside him at the head table while he barely acknowledges my existence, conducting business with Sterling and other nobles as if I'm not even there. When I try to make conversation, his responses are clipped, distant. "Why did you marry me?" I finally ask when we're alone for a moment. His eyes flick to me, unreadable. "That's none of your concern." The words sting more than they should. This is a business arrangement, I remind myself. Nothing more. But then the reception ends, and a servant whispers that the Duke requests my presence in his chambers. My blood runs cold. It's our wedding night. I knew this was coming, but suddenly it feels too real, too fast. Indigo grabs my arm before I leave. "If he hurts you..." "I'll be fine," I lie, trying to smile. Caspian's chambers are enormous, all dark wood and heavy curtains. He's already there, jacket discarded, sleeves rolled up. He looks different somehow. More dangerous. "Close the door," he commands softly. I obey, my heart hammering. "Your Grace, I..." "Caspian," he interrupts, moving toward me with predatory grace. "You're my husband now. You'll call me Caspian." "Caspian," I repeat, my voice barely steady. "About tonight? I've never..." "I know." He stops inches away, tilting my chin up. "You think I didn't research you thoroughly before proposing this arrangement? Then you know I don't understand why you chose me." Something flickers in his eyes. Pain? Longing? It's gone before I can identify it. "You're exactly what I need, Aspen Thorne. Or should I say, Aspen Aldridge now." Hearing my new name from his lips does something strange to my chest. His thumb brushes my lower lip. "I need an heir. That's why you're here. And tonight, we'll consummate this marriage and ensure there are no questions about its legitimacy." "That's all I am to you?" The words slip out before I can stop them. "A means to an heir? What else did you expect?" His voice is cruel now, deliberately so. "But this is a transaction, Aspen. You got your brother's debts cleared. I get what I need. That's all this is." But then he kisses me, and it's nothing like the ceremony. This kiss is hungry, desperate, almost angry. His hands are in my hair, pulling me closer, and I can't help responding despite myself, despite his cold words. When he pulls back, we're both breathing hard. "Remember what this is," he warns, but his voice sounds less certain now. "Don't expect more from me." Then he starts unbuttoning my shirt, and I realize with mounting dread and strange anticipation that there's no going back now. I'm truly his. As he lays me down on his massive bed, something in his expression shifts. For just a moment, the coldness cracks, and I see something raw and vulnerable underneath. "Aspen," he breathes against my neck, and it sounds almost like a prayer. "Mine. You're mine now." The possessiveness in his voice should scare me. Instead, it ignites something I don't understand. Cliffhanger. As dawn breaks and I wake up alone in his bed, I find a leather journal on his nightstand, fallen open. The page shows a sketch of me from months ago at the library where I worked. Beneath it, in Caspian's handwriting, I found him. Finally found him. But he can never know the truth about why. I shouldn't be reading this. I know I shouldn't. But my hands are already flipping through the journal, my heart racing as I recognize location after location. The library, the coffee shop I frequent, the park where I walk every Sunday. Caspian has been watching me for months. Maybe longer. This wasn't a random business arrangement. He specifically chose me. For what? What are you doing? I jump, dropping the journal. Caspian stands in the doorway of his bathroom, hair damp, wearing only sleep pants. His expression is thunderous. It fell open, I wasn't. Snooping through my private belongings? He crosses the room in 3 strides, snatching the journal. On your first morning as my husband? You've been following me. I stand up, clutching the sheet around myself. For months. That journal is full of sketches of me, notes about my routine. What the hell, Caspian? Something dangerous flashes in his eyes. You don't understand. Then explain it to me. I can't. His jaw clenches. You need to forget what you saw. How can I forget that my husband has been stalking me? That this whole marriage, everything, is based on some obsession you won't explain. He grabs my wrist, pulling me close. It's not obsession. He stops himself, breathing hard. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. For a long moment he just stares at me. Then he releases my wrist and walks to the window, his back rigid. When I was 20, I had a younger brother. Rowan. He was 17, bright, full of life. He died in an accident that was meant for me. My anger deflates. Caspian, I'm sorry, but I don't understand what. Before he died, he made me promise something. He was delirious, fading. He grabbed my hand and said, "Find him, Cass. Find the boy with kind eyes who works with books. Promise me you'll find him and keep him safe. He'll save you." Caspian's voice cracks. I thought it was nonsense. Grief-induced hallucinations. But then, 3 years ago, I saw you at the library and I just knew. I sink back onto the bed, stunned. That's insane. I know how it sounds. He turns to face me. But I couldn't shake it. I started watching you, learning everything about you. You were kind to everyone. Children, elderly patrons, even the homeless man who came in every day. You had these eyes that... He trails off. Rowan was right. You do have kind eyes. So you married me because of a dying boy's fever dream? I married you because every instinct in my body screamed that you were important. That I needed to protect you. His hands fist at his sides. And because somewhere along the way, watching you live your quiet, beautiful life, I fell in love with you. The words hang in the air between us. I can't breathe. Can't think. You don't love me, I whisper. You love some idea of me. Some promise to a dead boy. Pain flashes across his face. You're right. Maybe I don't know the real you. But I want to, Aspen. God, I want to. Before I can respond, Sterling bursts through the door. Your Grace, we have a problem. Someone's been asking questions about your new husband. Dangerous questions. Caspian's entire demeanor changes, going cold and controlled. What kind of questions? About his past. His family. There's a man claiming to be his father. My blood turns to ice. That's impossible. My father died 5 years ago. Apparently not, Sterling says grimly. He showed up at the estate gates this morning with legal documents claiming you're still a minor under his guardianship. He's demanding your return and threatening to annul the marriage. But I'm 23. I have my birth certificate. He has documents too. Different dates. Different names. Sterling looks at me with something like pity. Who are you really, Aspen Thorne? I look between them, panic rising. I don't know what he's talking about. Marlowe would never. Where is your brother? Caspian asks, his voice deadly calm. I reach for my phone, dial Marlowe. It goes straight to voicemail. I try again. And again. Nothing. He wouldn't just disappear, I insist, but doubt creeps in. Marlowe had been so desperate about the debts. What if there was more to it? What if I don't know my own past? Caspian pulls me against him suddenly, his arms tight around me. Whatever this is, whoever you are, you're mine now. I'll handle this. How? If he can prove I'm not legally, then we'll figure it out. Together. He tilts my chin up. Did you mean what you said last night? When I was inside you and you whispered that you were falling for me too. I freeze. In the heat of passion, caught up in sensations I'd never felt before, had I said that? Looking into his intense gray eyes now, I realize the terrifying truth. Yes, I whisper. I think I did. He kisses me hard, possessive. Then that's all that matters. You're mine, Aspen. And I protect what's mine. Cliffhanger. A servant rushes in, pale and shaking. Your Grace, the man at the gates, he's not alone. He's brought the Archbishop and the Royal Magistrate. They're demanding to see Lord Aspen immediately. And Your Grace, they say if you resist, they'll charge you with kidnapping and forced marriage of a minor. They have an arrest warrant. The man claiming to be my father looks nothing like the warm, loving dad I remember. Luther Thorne, if that's even his real name, stands in Caspian's study with a smug expression that makes my skin crawl. Aspen, darling, he says in a voice I don't recognize. You don't remember me, do you? But then you wouldn't. Not after the accident that took your memories. What accident? I demand, but my hands are shaking. There are gaps in my childhood memories, blank spaces I always attributed to trauma from my parents' deaths. But what if it's more than that? The Archbishop clears his throat. The documents appear legitimate, Your Grace. Birth certificate showing Aspen Thorne, born March 15, 18 years ago, not 23 as claimed. Medical records of severe head trauma at age 12, resulting in amnesia. And legal guardianship papers signed by Luther Thorne. Those are forgeries, Caspian says coldly, but I can see tension in his jaw. Are they? Luther pulls out a faded photograph. Recognize this, son? The photo shows a young boy, maybe 11 or 12, standing beside this man. The boy has my eyes, my face. But I don't remember this moment. Don't remember him at all. The accident happened 7 years ago, Luther continues. You ran away from home after your mother died, got caught in a storm. When they found you, you had no memory of your life before. A kind couple, the people you think were your parents, took you in, gave you a new identity. But legally, you're still my son. Still a minor. And this marriage, he gestures dismissively at Caspian, is invalid. Where's Marlowe? I ask desperately. My brother would never. Marlowe Thorne. Luther laughs. You mean the con artist who's been posing as your brother? Oh, he's been very helpful in tracking you down. For the right price, of course. The betrayal cuts deeper than any blade. Marlowe sold me out? For what? Unless everything was a lie from the start. I don't believe you, I whisper, but my voice lacks conviction. Luther's expression softens into something that might be genuine concern. I know this is confusing, Aspen, but I've been searching for you for 7 years. When I heard you'd been forced into marriage with a duke, I knew I had to act. This man doesn't love you. He's using you for whatever sick game he's playing. That's not true. I turn to Caspian, desperate for him to deny it, to fight back. But Caspian is staring at Luther with an expression I can't read. 7 years ago, he says slowly. The accident. Where exactly did it happen? Thornhaven Forest, Luther answers. During the storm. Why? The color drains from Caspian's face. That's where Rowan died. The same night. The same storm. The room goes silent. I look between them, my mind racing. What are you saying? Rowan was trying to save someone that night, Caspian says, his voice hollow. He ran into the forest after a boy who'd gotten lost in the storm. They found Rowan's body, but the boy was never found. I thought. He looks at me with dawning horror. I thought the boy died too. It was you, Luther says quietly. My son was the boy your brother died saving. The revelation crashes over me like a wave. Rowan died saving me. And I don't even remember it. The guilt would have destroyed you, Luther continues. That's probably why your mind blocked it out, created a new history. I sink into a chair, my entire world tilting. Everything I thought I knew, my past, my identity, even my age, might be lies my broken mind created. This doesn't change anything, Caspian says firmly, moving to stand behind me, his hand on my shoulder. Aspen is my husband. I don't care about paperwork or legal technicalities. The law cares. The magistrate interjects. If these documents are legitimate, the marriage is void. Lord Aspen would return to his father's custody until he reaches legal age. I won't let you take him. Caspian's voice is deadly. Then you'll be arrested for kidnapping, Luther says sadly. I don't want that, Your Grace. I just want my son back. I stand abruptly, unable to bear the weight of all their eyes on me. I need air. I need to think. Aspen, Caspian reaches for me. Don't. I pull away, hating how hurt flashes across his face. You married me because of guilt. Because I'm the boy your brother died for. That's what this has always been about, hasn't it? Not love. Obligation. That's not. And you, I round on Luther. If you're really my father, why does looking at you feel like looking at a stranger? Why can't I remember anything? Time, son. You need time. I need the truth. My voice breaks. I need someone to tell me the truth for once in my goddamn life. I storm out of the study, ignoring everyone calling my name. I end up in the estate library, surrounded by books, trying to breathe through the panic. That's where Indigo finds me 20 minutes later. Hey, they say softly, sitting beside me. Sterling told me what happened. Did you know? I ask. About any of this? No. But Aspen. Indigo takes my hand. I've known you for 5 years. Since you and Marlowe moved to town. And I know this, whoever you were before doesn't matter. You're kind, genuine, and strong. That's real. That's you. But what if I'm not even me? What if Aspen Thorne is just a character I invented? Then he's a damn good character, Indigo says firmly. And Caspian loves that person. I've seen how he looks at you. He loves a ghost. A debt to his dead brother. Does he? Indigo challenges. Or are you just scared that if you let yourself believe he loves you, it might actually be real? Before I can answer, Sterling appears in the doorway, looking urgent. Aspen, you need to come quickly. We found Marlowe. And he's saying Luther Thorne is a fraud, that the documents are forgeries. But he's been beaten badly. He says someone's trying to kill you both, and this whole thing is a setup. Cliffhanger. As I rush to where they're holding Marlowe, an explosion rocks the estate. Fire erupts from the east wing, where Caspian was meeting with Luther and the officials. Through the smoke and chaos, I hear Caspian screaming my name. And then Sterling grabs my arm, his face grim. That wing was supposed to be empty. Someone knew Caspian would be there. Someone just tried to assassinate the Duke. I run through the smoke-filled corridors, Sterling shouting at me to stop, but I don't care. Caspian is in there. My husband is in there. I find him staggering out of the destroyed study, covered in soot but alive. Our eyes meet across the chaos, and I watch his expression transform from shock to relief to something fierce and possessive. Aspen. He crosses the distance between us, crushing me against him. God, Aspen. I thought, when I heard you were in the library near this wing. I'm okay. I'm okay. I pull back to check him for injuries. What happened? Bomb, he says grimly. Hidden in the fireplace. Set to detonate during our meeting. Where's Luther? The Archbishop? Gone. They left minutes before the explosion, said they needed to retrieve additional documents. His eyes darken. This was a setup from the start. Sterling approaches with Marlowe, who looks like he's been through hell. His lip is split, one eye swollen shut, but he's alive. Marlowe! I grab him. What happened? Sterling said. I'm so sorry, Aspen. Marlowe's voice cracks. I was an idiot. Luther approached me weeks ago, said he was your real father, offered money to help arrange the meeting. I thought I was helping you. But then I overheard him talking to his associates. This isn't about custody. It's about the Aldridge fortune. What? Caspian's arm tightens around me. You have no direct heirs, Marlowe explains. If you died without children, the duchy and fortune would go to distant cousins who've been trying to claim it for years. But if Aspen is legally your husband and you die, he inherits everything. And if I'm a minor under Luther's guardianship, I continue, understanding dawning, Luther controls my inheritance. They were going to kill you both? Marlowe says. Make it look like an accident. When I confronted Luther, his men beat me and locked me in the basement. I only got free because of the explosion. Sterling pulls out documents from his coat. While everyone was distracted, I did some investigating. Luther Thorne doesn't exist, not legally. The real Luther Thorne died 15 years ago. This man is Marcus Vale, a known con artist with connections to your estranged cousins, Your Grace. So everything was a lie, I breathe. The documents, the photograph. Photoshopped, Sterling confirms. You are Aspen Thorne, 23 years old. The accident that killed Rowan has nothing to do with you. That boy was found later, returned to his family. This was an elaborate con to get access to the Aldridge fortune. Relief and anger war inside me. Where is he now? Gone, Caspian says darkly. But not for long. I've already sent men to track him down. The Archbishop arrives then, the real one, summoned by Sterling. Your Grace, I've reviewed the marriage documents. Everything is legitimate and legal. The ceremony is binding. He looks at me kindly. You're the Duke's husband in the eyes of the law and God. No one can change that. Caspian cups my face, his thumb brushing my cheek. But is it binding in your eyes, Aspen? Because if any part of you wants to leave, if you think I married you out of obligation or guilt, do you? I interrupt. Think of me as an obligation? No. His voice is fierce. Gano. Maybe it started with Rowan's words, but what I feel for you now, that has nothing to do with my brother. I love you, Aspen. Your kindness, your strength, the way you challenge me. I love how you look in the morning with sunlight in your hair. I love your terrible jokes and how you cry during romantic movies. I love you, and I'm terrified because I've never felt this vulnerable before. Tears blur my vision. I love you too. Even though you're controlling and secretive and bought me like property. I'll spend my life making that up to you, he promises. I love you. And I choose this. Choose us. Choose to be your husband, for real this time. He kisses me then, deep and claiming, while our audience discreetly looks away. When we break apart, both breathless, he rests his forehead against mine. Mine, he whispers. Yours, I agree. Forever. 3 months later, I wake to sunlight streaming through the curtains and Caspian's arm wrapped around my waist, his hand resting protectively on my stomach. Morning, he murmurs against my neck. We should get up. Indigo and Sterling are coming for brunch. 5 more minutes. He pulls me closer. I want to enjoy having you to myself before everyone arrives. We've changed since that day. Caspian is more open now, letting me into the parts of himself he kept locked away. He still has nightmares about losing Rowan, but now he wakes me up to talk about them instead of suffering alone. And me? I've learned that my past, whatever it actually was, doesn't define me. I am Aspen Aldridge, Duke Consort, husband to the most infuriatingly perfect man, and I'm happy. Marlowe was forgiven after proving himself in tracking down Marcus Vale and his co-conspirators. He lives in the guest house now, working to rebuild his business with Caspian's help. You know, I say, turning in Caspian's arms, we should probably start thinking about that heir you wanted. His eyes darken with interest. Is that so? Well, we've been married 3 months. People will start asking questions. I trace patterns on his chest. Unless you've changed your mind about wanting children. He flips us so I'm pinned beneath him, his expression hungry and adoring. I want everything with you, Aspen. Children, decades of mornings like this, growing old together. Everything. Then maybe, I say, pulling him down for a kiss, you should claim me again. Just to be sure it takes. He groans. You're going to be the death of me. But what a way to go. As he makes love to me with the morning sun painting us golden, I think about how strange fate is. A forced marriage that became real love. A cold duke who learned to be warm. A boy with a fabricated past who found his true future. Later, at brunch, surrounded by the people who've become our family, Indigo's laughter, Sterling's dry wit, Marlowe's terrible puns, Caspian takes my hand under the table and squeezes. I squeeze back, and in that simple gesture, we say everything. Thank you. I love you. I choose you. Forever. This wasn't the life I planned. But it's the one I was always meant to have. And I wouldn't change a single thing.